What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another fishing episode. And today we're going to be going over baits that will get you more bites and hopefully land more bass during the winter season. As all of y'all probably know, during winter your water temperature drops, your lake levels drop, the air temperature, everything just drops. And if y'all have noticed, you probably ain't been possibly catching as many bass as you was, say, from spring to fall. And a lot of the baits you're using probably ain't catching any bass hardly now or any at all. Well, fear not, the bass ain't quit eating. They just changed over to more of a finicky state. When the temperatures drop, the bass ain't as active and they don't move as much. However, they still gotta eat, so you gotta find other lures to throw that will make them want to eat. Well, today I'm gonna go over what baits I would consider probably some of the best baits to get you more bites in the wintertime. It's a lot of the same baits I use and throw, and it's a lot of the same stuff that's been catching me bass during the wintertime months. So, let's get started. So, you're out there, let's say it's December right now. You're out there early morning, you pull up your first spot, as I would. A good bait, usually to start out during wintertime bass fishing, I would think, as I always do, would be a crankbait. And when it comes to cranking in wintertime, you want to throw a crankbait that's got a real tight action to it. When I talk tight action, when it's going through the bottom, I mean you got that real tight wobble. See, in the summertime, you're throwing cranks that got that real wide wobble. Well, in wintertime, you want cranks that got a tighter action to it. And what you want to do is just, cast it out there. You don't really want to burn it back. You just want to give your crank, as soon as it hits the bottom, just a good, steady retrieve. Just, let it crawl through there. And when it comes to wintertime cranking, I think, anyways, they tend to go more towards crawl colors, crawl patterns. You can see here I got, good bright DT6 there. I think that's the Demon. Then here I got a Spall Rock Crawler. And then another good crank to throw would be the Spro Little John. These all right here have fantastic tight actions. Especially the DT6s. Well, any of the DT series have a great tight action. This is, like I said, the DT6. And here's your DT10s. Great tight action, great for summertime bass fishing. And like I was saying, it's wintertime, the bass tend to go more towards the crawl patterns, but however, you can tie on, your shad colors also in wintertime, I believe. Just experiment with it. Throw crawl, throw shad, just whatever, till you can find out what they're really wanting to hit on. You can have crawl on one rod, shad on another color. Another great wintertime crank for catching bass would be the Berkeley Fritz sides. You can see here, this is a Fritz side 7. It's got that real thin profile body. The bill comes out. It's got a great tight wobble when it's going through that water column. Another good wintertime crank would be, this is a Strike King. I can't remember which one it is, but it's a shad pattern. You can see it's got that real thin body to it, profile, and it's got a great tight action to it. But like I said, just experiment with it. You can throw your crawl patterns or your shad patterns. They tend to lay more on the crawl pattern, but now every now and then they might switch it up and go to a shad pattern. Just find what your fish are wanting that day. On to another one would be your swim baits. When it comes to swim baits in the wintertime, pretty much wintertime bass fishing, you gotta slow everything down to a point. That goes for your swim baits also. You can see here, I got this Saucy Swimmer tied on a VMC underspin. And the thing about that underspin is, on them real sunny days, when that water is real clear, you got a lot of wind, a lot of current ripping through there. Throw these out there, and just give them, a nice steady pace through there. Kind of slow it down real slow. That underspin should get you bit. You can let it hit bottom. You can see here, it's rigged up weedless, so you ain't really got to worry about getting snagged on too much. Same with this one without the underspin. And the thing about the one without the underspin is, I tend to throw these more on the more overcast days. The water is more murky, and it's just real calm out there. I also think that helps get you bit a lot. Another great swim bait to throw would be, of course, your Kitex. Always pair mine up with the little ball head jigs. This is the little, I think 2.8, I think is the size of it. Then you also got another great Kitech brand, is the Easy Shiner. The smaller ones, not the bigger ones. These right here and this right here have landed me quite a few bass. Year round, actually. These you can throw them year round. So, they'll land you bass. Let's see, another great, what I would consider wintertime lure to throw would be your jerk bait. This is a great search bait. When you really don't know where your fish are, you want to try to just, you know, pull up to a spot, see if you can find where they're at, throw a jerk bait. I like throwing jerk baits a lot because they can land you a lot of bass in the boat. And usually when a bass won't eat, a jerk bait will make a bass eat. That's pretty much, you throw it out there, and if anybody knows anything about how to work a jerk bait, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I plan on doing a tutorial video over how to use jerk baits. You know, you'll throw it out there and just that twitch, let it pause, twitch, pause, like that. And the same goes for jerk bait fishing also. On them real sunny days, clear water, you know, a lot of wind, I always tend to go more towards my chrome patterns. That chrome black back, that helps get you bit a lot. And then on them more calm days, overcast, go for your matte colors. This is kind of like that ghost color, that purple back. And you see here, it's a more of a white, or kind of a white bonish color, black back. That will help you get, I believe, get bit on them nice overcast days. Now, you also got smaller jerk baits. This right here is a little Rapala ripstop 9s. You can see I got it in the chrome purple back. And pretty much it just depends on the size of the shad that's in your fishery, you know. A lot of times you can throw the big jerk baits like this and they'll catch you bass. But if they don't want to seem like they're wanting to hit this, you can always downsize it to a smaller jerk bait and see if that helps you land a bass or not. It could not. You just got to experiment with it. Another good, I guess you'd say, moving bait for wintertime or search bait would be your A-rigs. Now these can be a little complicated, but they're fun to throw once you get the hang of it, and honestly they'll catch them. Except for these, you need kind of more of a heavy gear. You're supposed to throw your A-rigs on like a heavy rod, 20-pound fluoro. Well, I'll tell you right now, you can get away with it with a good stiff, medium heavy, 20-pound fluoro or 20-pound mono. I literally throw my A-rigs on a 7.3 medium heavy, 20-pound fluorocarbon, and I get away with it. As you see here, this one's 5-wire, this one's 3-wire. Now when it comes to your A-rigs, you always want your center wire to always be the bigger swim bait. And then your outer wires, you always want to have them downsized. And another little trick about these A-rigs that will help you. See these two right here, you see it good enough or not. These two right here are the same color. Well, this one here in the middle, it's a chartreuse blue. For some reason, that helps them strike at it. I got, you know, the Colorado blades, your willow blades. Then they also got A-rigs that have no blades. Pretty much it just goes back to what I've been talking about. You know, overcast days, sunny days. You know, them sunny days, a lot of water, clear water. You know, them blades will help you get bit more. Then the more overcast days, you know, the A-rigs without the blades. Or if you can't find an A-rig without blades, you can always take them off, cut them off, whichever you prefer. Now, a thing about A-rigs that most people don't know, it might be new to fishing, is state regulations. I know as far as Tennessee and Kentucky go, you're only allowed to throw an A-rig that has 3 hooks. Well, you're probably thinking, well, I have a 5-wire A-rig. Well, you can still throw that. On your bottom 2, you want to put, you know, your hooks, your middle one, your hooks. Well, your top 2, they make these neat little things you can clip on your swivel here. They're called bait keepers. It kind of looks like a little screw. Well, I actually show you right here. They make these little things that they sell separate. If you can see it there. All it is a little screw lock. And it pretty much holds your bait on there. Where they sell them separate, and you can pretty much hook them right onto your swivel and screw your swim bait right on it. Well, if you don't have any of them, another thing that I've been doing that actually helps is, let me get one here and show you. Let me get this Kitech off there. These little ball head jigs right here, as you can see I'm holding. Right there where that bend is, just snip that off there. You can slide that bait right up on there. You can see right there, it's got a bait keeper on it. Slide it right up on there. You're good to go. Like I said, just depending on what state you're in, just look into the regulations on it. I know as far as Kentucky and Tennessee go, it's only 3 hooks, but you can still throw your 5-wire blades, your 3-wire blades, you know, just look into it. Now, on them days when you threw your cranks, your jerk baits, your swing baits, your A-rigs, all of your moving search baits, and you've still not gotten any hits, that's when you need to really slow it down. I know I've talked about, you know, fishing this stuff slow. Well, sometimes you might need to even slow it down even more and fish just the bottom. I mean slow. When that comes into play, that's when you want to move into your jigs. Throwing a football jig in the wintertime can absolutely land you some of the best bass you'll catch year round. You can see right here, I'm throwing it just in the, you know, your natural colors, green pumpkin, brown crawl, football head jig, you know. Now as far as the trailer goes for wintertime, you know, in summertime, you know, you're throwing them big crawl trailers on there, got them big appendages, you know, flapping around. Well, in wintertime, you want, you know, something that's not got so much movement, but a little movement. And these nice little Rage Tails by Strike King, I believe, paired on a jig, help out tremendously. Like, I've landed a lot of fish just using them right there. You can see right here in another jig, you know, same thing, Strike King Rage Tail. They'll help land you. Another great jig to throw in wintertime on your finesse jigs. That's when it gets down to a smaller jig, lighter wire hook, your skirt, you know. You can see right here, you got part of the skirt that's sticking up by the head. Well, football jig here, let me get it all down where it goes. You can see, well, if I can get that skirt out of there. The skirt sits below the head. That's kind of how you tell the difference between a finesse jig and a regular jig. Regular jig, your skirt, you know, will be down like that. A finesse jig, you'll have little strands that stick up by your head. Finesse jig, regular jig. You know, just throw them out there, let them hit bottom, couple little pops, you know, pause it, couple little pops, or just drag it and pause. Just, you know, find a cadence that the bass like, and that should get you bit right there. Now, another good one to throw, which would be, I would consider a year-round bait, and I throw it year-round, which also goes for the jig. You know, a jig can be a year-round, you know, spring all the way to winter, it can be a year-round bait. But for me, a jig, I get more bites in the wintertime on a jig than I do any time of the year. But you can still throw a jig in, say, summertime, but you're just going to be throwing it a lot deeper water. We'll go over that in another video. Now, Shaky Heads. Shaky Head is also a year-round bait, but also a bait that can get you a lot of bites in the wintertime. You can see right here how it's paired up on there. It just sits right on there, and that hook barely exposed. And when it's sitting in the bottom, it just sets up. And the good thing about the Shaky Heads is they're weedless. You can throw them up in grass, you can throw them up in laydowns, around cover, and even if it gets snagged, most of the time you can pop it right at her. And you know, there's all kinds of different trailers you can see right here. This is the Robo Worm. That's the ox blood. That's a good worm to use for Shaky Head. Right now I got the Zoom Green Pumpkin Trick Worm paired on that one. Let's see. And then as far as like where I was talking earlier about your overcast days, water ain't so clear, that's when you would want to switch over to your more darker colors. You can see right here, this is the Zoom Trick Worm. It is a blue, I can't remember what color it is. It's a blue something though. That's a real good color to throw on them more overcast days. You know, that water's a little dirtier. As far as your Shaky Head hooks go, I got one here without, you know, the worm on it. That's what your standard size Shaky Head hook would look like. You got your little bait keeper right here, screw lock, and all of that. Another good wintertime bait would be the drop shot. Now this one is a little different. It's a bottom bait, but it's more suspended. When it comes to drop shotting, you got, you know, your weights. You can see here, I got a cylinder style weight, then I got a teardrop weight. One of them is more for around rocks, and one of them more for around like just flats, you know. I think the teardrop is more for your rocky bottoms, and the cylinder is more for your more flat bottoms, you know, stuff like that. Pretty much when it comes to drop shotting, your weight will be on the bottom, your hook will be so far suspended up above your weight, whichever you want it, and then your bait will be hooked right in like that, and pretty much it will set like that in the water column. And pretty much the same way you'd work a jig or a shaky head, just cast it out there, let it hit bottom, just every so often, give it a couple little pops there, let it hit bottom, you know, like I said, summertime, I got summertime on the brain, guys, sorry. Wintertime, it's all about just slowing down and getting more bites and landing more fish, hopefully. And later on, I'm going to go over a video on how to actually properly set up a drop shot. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. And some good baits to use, you know, for drop shot. And this right here is the Guggen Baits Drag and Drop. Another good bait you can use are the Zoom Z Drops. You know, this is your green pumpkin, your greeny weenie, or green weenie, whatever it's called. I know it's a funny name. Another new one I've been experimenting with, and actually landed my personal best smallmouth in a previous video y'all probably seen, was the new Berkeley flatworms, the power bait. And I actually got a pack of them right here to show you guys. We're on pack. Right here. That right there is a great drop shotting or Ned rigging bait, because I actually had this Ned rigged when I caught my personal best smallmouth in that last video. And it's, you know, your Guggen Dragon drops. Those are real great for drop shotting. Now on to the last and final bait, which could actually be another year-round, but I believe does best in wintertime, would be old Uncle Ned. You can about guarantee when you throw old Uncle Ned rig that you're going to get bit. Smallmouth, spots, largemouth, all of them love it. And pretty much, when it's on that bottom, it'll set up like that. You know, same as everything else. Couple little pops here and there, let it sit. You know, and just, sometimes when it comes to Ned rig, all you gotta do is throw it out there, give it a couple pops, just let it sit. You know, 2 or 3 minutes, couple pops. You know, you just gotta figure out a cadence to make them want to hit. That right there, I believe, is the Zoom Ned rigs they have. Some other good brands that you could use for Ned rigging would be Z-Man. This right here is the Z-Man Hula Stix. I actually ain't got the bag out with me, but you can see these are kind of more of your, I guess you say, mid-size Ned rigs, because right here is more of your standard TRD. You can see the size difference. If they won't want to hit these 2 big ones, put you one of these Z-Man Finesse TRDs on there, and hopefully you'll get bit. You can see right here some great colors to throw would be green pumpkin orange. Kind of resembles a crawl color. This right here is just your standard green pumpkin. That right there will also get you bit really well. But yeah, pretty much just the baits I'm showing you guys are anywhere, like I was talking, from your search bait, your moving baits, all the way down to your more finicky, you know, baits. And yeah, just, you know, guys, get out there and tie some of these on and you know, throw them around, find a pattern that works for you, find a pattern that works for the fish, and it should hopefully start helping you guys land more bass this winter time. Because like I said, just because it's cold don't mean you can't get out there and still fish and still catch them. Sometimes you'll catch the biggest largemouth or smallmouth you've ever caught in the winter time. So, hope this video was helpful to y'all. If y'all have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And if you guys have any ideas for future videos, please feel free to contact me, let me know. I'll be making more videos here soon on, like I was talking, on how to set up a drop shot properly, how to rig up an A-rig, how to work a jerk bait, all of that. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Get out there and hopefully use these tips to help y'all land some more fish. And y'all have a good one.